Mr. Vineet Jindal, are you trying to tell me that you are going to move court without even knowing the contents of a film? Will this not qualify as a frivolous lawsuit? And when you look at the name Ghooskhor, corrupt, so a corrupt Brahmin will make it appear like a caste slur. But when you go into the definition of what Pandit is, then you can arrive at a conclusion that there is no direct relation between the definition of Pandit and Brahminism.
Loudly that all the stories which are done by the Muslim script writers were there to malign Hindu characters like Pandits or like Thakurs. So this is what we are doing right now, and that is not the way.
Like this, Mr. Jindal, again, see, this is not a fair argument. This is not a fair argument.
I'm again saying
what other communities will do or say. I mean, then in that case, I would say
the problem here is what is
have the bigger heart, be the better person.
I am having a very bigger heart. That's why I'm saying this is not only about this particular thing.
I mean, this is Mr. Vineet Jindal. This is spin a yarn. You spun a yarn here. That is not what Mr. Girish Wankhede said. He said the movie was commissioned by Netflix. Are you suggesting as if you think Netflix has a bias against Brahmins of this country? Hello and welcome. You're watching me, Sanket Upadhyay, on TheFederal. The show is called AI with Sanket. This is the AI of news because news in India today requires not artificial but analytical intelligence. And the one place where we seem to have become way more unintelligent than any other sphere is how movies should be named, what is happening in our movies, what movies' title should be, what should they be called. Now we all understand that cinema, theatre, all these are extremely powerful modes of communication. Along came a movie with the name Ghooskhor Pandit. Ghooskhor in Hindi means corrupt. Pandit, as the name suggests, is a reference to a person who may be, and please mark my words carefully, who may be a Brahmin or a corrupt Brahmin. And this seems to be the objection which has been taken by a number of people from the upper caste community, from the Brahmin community, who feel that this is derogatory. You can't name an entire community as corrupt. But did Neeraj Pandey, the director of this movie, who is an upper caste Brahmin, Manoj Bajpayee starrer movie, again an upper caste Brahmin, deliberately want to malign Indian Brahmins? Was that the intention? Or has Pandit word been used in its original form, in its definition, which has nothing to do with Brahminism? It talks about someone who's scholarly. Anyone who's scholarly can be a Pandit. In what context has that been used? There's so much of hue and cry over a name that while half the people are calling it the Heckler's veto, the other half feel that a community is being maligned and court needs to be moved and Netflix needs to be taken to task so that this big problem can be fixed. What do you think? What is your view? Please do share with us. Let's start this discussion. All right, joining us right now are Vineet Jindal. He's an advocate filing a petition to change the title of the film. Thank you very much, Vineet ji, for joining us. We also have Girish Wankhede. He's a film trade analyst. His views are well known, but we shall ask him again. And you see, something as simple as a film title or a show title becoming national headlines and an issue of serious concern, causing a sense of grief, hurt, and great pain to the upper caste community is something which is in discussion right now. I want to begin with you, Vineet Jindal, and want to know from you, what is your primary objection?
Sanket ji, our primary objection upon the name, the word which has been used before Pandit, that is an objectionable one. the word specifically used, which is itself a defamatory, itself we can say it is a kind of abuse to someone. If it's someone called someone like the name Ghooskhor, definitely it is a defamatory thing. So our primary concern upon this. The second concern, as the title itself, using a defamatory, para before or code before specific particular community name. What about the content of this movie? So there are two specific concerns here, and the reason is also very relevant if we are talking about legal aspect, because it is a OTT platform movie. So CBSE certificate is not been needed. We all know about this, and any content can be aired directly to the OTT platforms. So this is also a very big concern for us, and that's why we are approaching Delhi High Court regarding the same.
So what I've been able to gather here is that your objection, primary objection, which we've heard on social media platforms also, is number one, the use of the word Pandit along with Ghooskhor. For our audience who do not understand Hindi, Pandit, of course, everybody would know what it means, and Ghooskhor, I'll come to the dictionary meaning in just a short moment. Ghooskhor basically means corrupt. So the point that is being made over here is that this is the story of a corrupt upper caste Brahmin, because Pandit is used for Brahmins. However, Mr. Girish Wankhede, I would now like to come to the dictionary meaning of the word Pandit. Some may construe this as a casteist slur because Pandit and Brahmins are used interchangeably, correct? But what does a Pandit mean? This is the dictionary meaning. A Hindu scholar learned in Sanskrit and Hindu philosophy and religion, typically also a practicing priest. In Indian English, it is used to define a wise man or teacher, for example, Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya. In Indian English, a talented musician is also respectfully called Pandit, Panditji, right? Nowhere does it mention Brahmins. Let's look at the Hindi definition. Let's put out the Hindi definition first. Pandit in Hindi means Nipun Kushal, Vidwan, Shastragya Vidwan. Nowhere does it mention Brahman or Brahmins. In a situation like this, Girish Wankhede, do you feel that the loose reference of Pandits or Brahmins as Pandits, because they are priests, they are educated, right? They perform pujas. So to assume that the Pandit mentioned in this movie is a reference to Brahmins, is that correct?
I think no, because first let me tell you, it is Pandat, Pandat. So they call it Ghooskhor Pandat, not Pandit. So Pandit is again slang for Pandit only. It is a slang, and the character which Neeraj Pandey has described is a corrupt police officer, a police, not officer, but a cop who is actually given that by name as a Pandat. So we call Pandat to Pandits also. So it is not basically intentional to malign any particular caste or a class, particularly Brahmins. So when we say Pandit or a Ghooskhor Pandit, obviously now at this moment we are too sensitive, we are too intolerant, we are too conscious about these things. If you remember, we should recall that in 1975 there was a film called Ponga Pandit. The name was Ponga Pandit, and the character who was doing this was Ranbir Kapoor. So that was the film, and 75 people accepted it because they say Ponga Pandit. So Ponga is something which we say a fool or something that way. So that was acceptable. Now that we have a very much very consciousness and uneasiness with various titles, not from Padmavat to Billu Barber. In Billu Barber also, Barber was made to get away, and it was only Billu. So we have been working, we become very much conscious without watching the film. And as I must submit here that Neeraj Pandey, Manoj Bajpayee, and Ritesh Shah. Ritesh Shah is the director, Neeraj is the producer. They are all mature, they are in the business, and they are purely business people who will never take any risk only by maligning a particular section or taking a risk by getting into the controversy. They will always play safe because they are the businessmen first, and businessmen first only because they are doing a commissioned film for Netflix. It is not a theatrical release film. Then they become extra conscious. Here it is a commissioned film. So here also they are responsible filmmakers. So it must be unintentionally done with a Ghooskhor Pandat. But now with international OTT platform like Netflix already in fray, they have reduced the tone, they have got down all the publicity material. Now it is no more, they will come up with a new title, so it will be no more Ghooskhor Pandit.
Yeah, but then, Mr. Vineet Jindal, see, the point is, had this been a story of a gentleman called something Pandit, we also know that Pandit is a surname. A lot of people use Pandit as a surname. What if this is a story of a corrupt police officer whose surname is Pandit? You would have had an objection to that too.
First of all, you have started very good point, Sanketji, as you have given a specific terminology. What Pandat? It is not Pandit, it is Pandat. Definitely, I'll agree upon this thing. And reference here, which you have been started with, it is someone who has been knowledgeable of Sanskrit or Shastra or something like that. So everybody who has that knowledge, it's that called Pandit. And Pandit is a reference. Pandit and Pandat is a reference to each other. Basically, the general public call like that only. So it is not only about the particular caste. It is about the person who has been having a knowledge of Sanatan things. Okay. So,
sir, Sanatan is one part. I would say it is also a salutation which has been accepted in English. People say that you are doing your panditry. Panditry is an official English word.
But nobody is referring. No, somebody who is having a knowledge of English literature is not going to call himself as a Pandit. Nobody is calling like that. So the reference here, because this is used in our community, this is used here only. So that's why we are saying that it is something which is taking objectionable upon a particular community, upon particular persons. It can be. The second point you have raised here, if someone is having a surname Pandit, again, we don't know about the content of now there are certain people have been saying that, okay, this is a story of a police official who isn't corrupt and his surname or he's calling as a Pandit. So we don't know the content because reason, that's why I'm in a very beginning and
but Mr. Vineet Jindal, are you trying to tell me that you are going to move court without even knowing the contents of a film? Will this not qualify as a frivolous lawsuit?
Let me complete first, then you'll ask a question, please. So bear with me. So the point here is when this particular title is objectionable, what about the content? And why this question raised here? Because the OTT platform content is not been verified anywhere. The content is here first, then only it can be verified. So our petition specifically stating about this thing, this content should be verified first because the title itself is objectionable. We are not going in for any other particular or any other serial or any other movies because the title itself in question. That's why we are saying it should be screened first. It should be the IB ministry should be clarify whether there is something against any community or not. That is a very big question. Otherwise, we have seen what is happening here.
So, okay, you see the one moment. As we established at the very beginning, yes, Pandit is a reference to Brahmins informal reference, but a respectful reference also. Panditji, Pandit, it's a way you refer to Brahmins. In that context, and when you look at the name Ghooskhor, corrupt, so a corrupt Brahmin will make it appear like a caste slur. But when you go into the definition of what Pandit is, then you can arrive at a conclusion that there is no direct relation between the definition of Pandit and Brahminism. Having said that, Girish Wankhede, do you feel that when Mr. Vineet Jindal will move court for changing the name of this movie, we are staring at a situation where, as a society, we have become extremely touchy, constantly living with a sense of hurt. Now, obviously, a lot of people have accused me, Mr. Wankhede, that I am letting upper caste Brahmins down. And then I was made to believe that remember what your surname is, Upadhyay. You are an upper caste. You are letting Brahmins down. The same thing happened. And I look at things in context. You know, Mr. Girish Wankhede, it is not just Pandit the movie where Brahmins are uniting on social media, that is. Remember the UGC equity guidelines where something similar happened. So do you feel that as a society, and particularly for cinema, we have become extremely touchy? Oh, I'm getting hurt.
Exactly. We have become too much touchy. We have started reading between the lines in every context. We are going to get that history, ki wo, why the sun, why all these Brahmins or the Pandits in all the old films, historical films were treated in a negative sense. We are going and we are dissecting everything which is possibly and telling loudly that all the stories which are done by the Muslim script writers were there to malign Hindu characters like Pandits or like Thakurs. So this is what we are doing right now, and that is not the way. If Dr. Rai Masum Raja is writing Mahabharat, if Shakil Badayami is writing Manare tu Kayana Dheere Dhare, if Naushad Saab and Rafi Saab are composing bhajans, and everything is done only for the art's sake. But by right now we are thinking ki Amar Akbar, what was in Amar Akbar Anthony, if Manmohan Desai was able to create some magic, right now we can't make Amar Akbar Anthony at this context, at this point, because we have become too conscious. Any film which we are making right now, we are thinking that why this particular community is targeted. Now there are films which are made on agenda. There are films which are made with certain bylines. There are films which are made with certain opinion, and there is so much of mix of this that every film we try to judge now. It's Netflix. Netflix is in this country to do business. They will never touch anything which is controversial. They are here to do pure business. They know that if their content is going in 122 films, they will be extra conscious to keep all the embargoes. During this Dhurandhar, they have made it sure that the Baluch, that word, has been bipped throughout. So they are very conscious, and when a film like Ghooskhor Pandat is being made by all the Pandits, Neeraj Pandey, Manoj Bajpayee, Ritesh Shah, they are responsible people. They know their job. They will never do intentionally to ruin their entire business. This guy, Neeraj Pandey, the same team, they made Taskari, a very popular series on Netflix just 2 months back. It is a pure commercial series. So they are commercial people. They are not here to do any harm to any community. They are filmmakers, but they are businessmen first. But we are here taking कि यार नीरज पांडे ऐसा कैसे बना सकते हैं? नीरज पांडे has made so many films, so many, and he has never done that. He will never do intentionally.
Yeah, you know, Mr. Vineet Jindal, see the
believe in and they do it, and that is the creative freedom which we.
Correct. I I'll come to creative freedom in just a short moment and how each of these episodes is going to be a big ding on that creative freedom. Mr. Vineet Jindal, you see, I want to come to you. The point on we being extremely touchy. On one hand, people can say that finally the upper caste is now rising. We have kept quiet for a very long time. For the past 30, 40, 50 years, 70 years, we have kept quiet. But every time you are accusing us, even in the case of UGC equity guidelines, if you recall, a similar argument was being made. That if our forefathers had done something to the the SCs and ST and OBC, you can't blame us. But the point is, the reality is that even now, people from the SC, ST, OBC community are discriminated against as a class. You may have individual cases of the upper caste being discriminated against, but SC, ST, OBC suffers as a class. And that is why those equity guidelines came into place. They will, of course, be revised. But do you feel that now, leading this political momentum, a sort of sense is being created in the society that upper caste, you are also being discriminated against? Raise your voice. Vineet Jindal will fight your case.
Sanket ji, first of all, what you say that there was an argument in the court that something bad or something wrong will be happened by our ancestors or something like that. That is never been put forward before the court. I am one of the petitioner and I was in the court at that time. This kind of argument has never been put forward before CGI. I'm telling you, number one. And what we have put forward before the CGI, he's also been concerned and he's also agreed upon our this argument that yes, this situation is changed. Discrimination can be happen to anyone. It is not like that discrimination can be happen only to SC, ST and OBCs. Discrimination can be happen to anyone. So this is never been an argument what you have put forward in your program right now. Number one. Number two, if you're talking about very touchy, as Mr. Wankhede says, there's Mr. Pandey and the other people who is very responsible. We are also appreciate their work. We are never say that they have not done any good work, but it doesn't mean that they were always doing something in a appropriate manner. Being a person, I can also make mistakes. Please accept it if you made a mistake. That is very important. And I must say,
and what is the mistake here, Mr. Jindal?
Yes, definitely the mistake what you have done, they have to took that title. If they are using Ghooskhor, it could be a Ghooskhor only. Why Pandit? Made a movie and named as a Ghooskhor, that's it. Why you put Pandit behind it?
Isn't caste, one more, Mr. Jindal, isn't caste a reality in India? Isn't corruption a reality in India?
I appreciate this thing. I am not putting forward what you have said that we have been subjected some kind of discrimination in film industry being a upper caste since long last 30, 50. I am not put forward these arguments. I am putting forward what is the situation right now. So kindly appreciate this thing. No, and again, I am not putting forward that argument also that they cannot have a courage to put words of other people or other caste or other communities like this.
Mr. Jindal, again, see, this is not a fair argument. This is not a fair argument.
I'm again saying
what other communities will do or say. I mean, then in that case, I would say
the problem here is
have the bigger heart, be the better person.
I am having a very bigger heart. That's why I'm saying this is not only about this particular thing. Why they are choosing OTT platform to release this movie? That is also a very big question with this name, because this content, the whole content cannot be verified. Otherwise, if this movie went to the cinema theater, they need a certification from the authorities. But when you are going to OTTs, you don't need any certification here, and this is the fact. And this is
your argument that there should be film certification for OTTs as well, which has been the government's case, by the way.
Sanket ji, my petition in 2022 before the Supreme Court, we have got direction to central government regarding framing the rules for content control of OTTs. They in 2021, after the direction 2021, central government took initiative and put some particular guidelines, but that guidelines also not been effective. In 2025, the Supreme Court itself says this content which is shown on OTT having a very big questions.
Okay.
Again, Supreme Court directed the central government to initiate something and establish
Sure.
one authority who
Okay,
can...
I get your point. It seems everybody is on a short fuse and everybody is getting hurt, and that is why the reference of the Heckler's veto. Do you feel, Mr. Vineet Jindal, that this is happening just way too much, and it is now being exercised by the upper caste community, the Brahmins as well? They are heckling.
No, I am not agree upon this particular point, because I must say that, as Mr. Wankhede says, since last 10 to 15 years, the people have been empowered to raise their voice, and it is good. If something wrong happened in the name of creativity and cinematography, that should be, if something is wrong, that should be stopped. Why not? And this is the responsibility lies with the director, producer, and the channels, whosoever, whether it is audio.
Sir, by your own admission, you haven't seen the movie. You don't know the context.
That's why I'm saying. I'm talking about the legal aspect. But we have I'm telling you. But as far I don't know why you are avoiding to discuss upon that particular point. Why this director choosing OTT instead of cinema? That is also a very big question.
Because why is it a big question? That is an option which is available to him. Everyone is.
No, that's it. That is the option is there. The more they can approach, they can more people will see his movie if it will be it will be shown on cinema.
Sir, this is the director's choice.
Definitely, that's why I'm saying. Why this is also a choice.
Distributing a movie in a cinema hall is a very expensive affair. A lot of movies are now releasing OTT first.
Notice this. That is also a choice of director to choose the name. He can choose the name only. Why the Pandit? Why he choose the Pandit?
Let me answer you.
Okay. Girishji wants to come in. Last.
Complete.
Sure, I got your point. Girish Wankhede.
It is never.
I also welcome this point. The aspect is what aspect is there. We have seen several times what these people doing for publicity also. They are doing the same things sometimes.
Sir, people can accuse you also of doing. You're moving court.
Oh, I am moving court. I am not going to roads or taking this kind of thing. Or this is the first movie which I can say. But these words has been hurting a lot us, and definitely whosoever is having some knowledge of Shastra and Sanskrit, definitely if someone called him Ghooskhor, definitely the person would be hurt. So it is
Okay. I think, Mr. Vineet Jindal, you've made your point. The point on why a movie was released on the OTT and not in the cinema hall, Mr. Girish Wankhede, who's a trade analyst, wants to come in. Yes, last comment.
First of all, it is never a director's decision to release a film on OTT. Let me tell you. And if you think that director is doing only to OTT so that it can go to 122 countries to only malign a particular section, that you are totally misguided. You are totally wrong, Mr. Vineet. Let me tell you how it happens. A film is made for theatrical business. It is decided early at the inception of the film. This is a commissioned film, which Netflix has commissioned to Mr. Neeraj. Neeraj can do a film like Special 26, which has done for theatrical, which he will do. But it has nothing to do with his intention that he will do something
again now Mr. Wankhede give you a very good argument which put before the honorable court tomorrow, because this matter is listed tomorrow in Delhi High Court. That this movie has been sponsored by Netflix, who is having a very big business player in all this thing, and Neeraj Pandey has been instructed to make this movie with the name and discriminatory. And,
this is Mr. Vineet Jindal. This is spin a yarn. You spun a yarn here. That is not what Mr. Girish Wankhede said. He said the movie was commissioned by Netflix. You are suggesting as if you think Netflix has a bias against Brahmins of this country.
Maybe, but that is what in 2020.
Then Sony Live has a bias against the Maharani. Because their web series was called Maharani.
That thing has been argued and discussed before the Supreme
Sir,
Court.
let me put your mind at ease, Mr. Vineet Jindal. Tomorrow, when you move court, when the court hears all your arguments, you put forward all these points in front of the court. Let's see what the court decides. Does the court think in its wisdom that this is worth entertaining, or will they call this frivolous? We will know tomorrow. So thank you very much, both you gentlemen, Girish Wankhede as well as Vineet Jindal, for joining us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.